Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about men that most women don't realize. See, when a man falls in love, he don't just tumble into it all at once. It's a process, a journey, and it happens in 3 stages. And here's the thing, most women miss the most important one. You ever notice how when a man first lays eyes on a woman, it's like the rest of the room just fades away? That's stage 1, baby. And let me tell you, it's not complicated. Men are visual, period. We see before we feel. It's the way you walk in, the way you smile, the way you carry yourself. And I'm not just talking about being pretty in the magazine sense, no. I'm talking about that presence, that vibe, that energy that makes a man stop mid-sentence and think, hold up, who is that? That's the spark. That's the ignition point where it all begins. For a man, attraction hits like a snapshot. One moment, you just another person in the room, and the next moment, boom, he's locked in. Maybe it's the way you tossed your hair back. Maybe it's the way you laughed without caring who heard you. Maybe it's the way your confidence walks in before you do. Whatever it is, it's like something in his mind says, I need to know more about her. And trust me, when a man gets curious about a woman, that's when he starts showing up differently. Now, let me break this down, because women sometimes think men just see a face or a body and that's it. Nah, it's more layered than that. Yes, physical looks catch the eye. Can't deny that. But it's also the style, the posture, the little mannerisms. You can be wearing jeans and a t-shirt, but if you wear it like you own the room, that's attractive. You can be in a business suit, handling your work, but if you've got that confidence and grace, that's attractive. Attraction for a man is as much about how you make him feel in that first moment as it is about what you look like. And ladies, here's a little secret. In stage 1, men are not thinking about love. Not yet. We're thinking, do I like what I see? That's it. That's the whole conversation in our head. But the funny thing is, if that first attraction is strong enough, we'll make moves just to be around you. We'll position ourselves in your path, find reasons to talk to you, offer to help with little things, even if we don't know your name yet. And here's where it gets interesting. Men don't always come direct. Some men play it cool, like they just happen to be near you, but deep down, trust me, they planned it. At this stage, everything is magnified. If you smile back, it's like gasoline on the fire. If you hold a little eye contact, you've just told him without words, you're in the game. Even the way you talk, your tone, your rhythm becomes part of that attraction, and the man starts collecting these little details in his mind. He might not even know he's doing it, but he's creating this mental picture of you. Now, this is also where some women get it twisted. They think if a man is staring, he's already in love. No, he's in the interest. There's a big difference. Love takes time, but that interest, that's the fuel that'll push him to step into stage 2. Without stage 1, the rest of the stages don't even get a chance to happen. This is why how you present yourself matters. I'm not talking about being someone you're not. I'm talking about owning who you are. If you're quirky, own it. If you're sophisticated, own it. If you're playful, own it. Because a man can only be attracted to what he can actually see. And here's the kicker. Men remember stage 1 forever. You could be married for 20 years. And if someone asked him what made you fall for him, 9 times out of 10, he'll tell you about that first moment he saw you. He'll talk about the dress you were wearing, the way your hair looked, that smile you gave. It becomes part of your love story. So don't underestimate it. Stage 1 might be the shortest stage, but it's the spark that lights the whole fire. Without it, the engine never starts and the journey never begins. Stage 2 is where the real magic starts happening, because now we've moved past just liking what we see. This is when a man starts peeling back the layers, letting you see parts of him that he doesn't show to just anybody. You see, in the beginning, it's all surface. You know, the laughs, the little flirtations, the playful banter. But when a man starts making an emotional connection, that's when he's opening the door to his world and saying, come on in, but wipe your feet first. Because this is important to me. Men don't just spill their feelings to anyone. If you've got a man telling you about his childhood, his dreams, his fears, the things that keep him up at night, girl, you are not just another conversation. You are someone he trusts. That's rare, because society teaches us to keep our armor on, to always be tough, to never let anyone see us vulnerable. But when we start talking to you about the real stuff, that means something. This is the stage where his phone calls last longer, not because he's got nothing better to do, but because talking to you feels better than doing anything else. This is when he asks about your day and actually listens. When he remembers that thing you told him 3 weeks ago about your favorite coffee or that song you love. A man in stage 2 is not just hearing you, he's storing information like it's gold. Now, ladies, here's what you got to understand. Emotional connection doesn't happen overnight. It's built little by little through shared moments and trust. And trust is everything to a man in this stage. If he opens up and you laugh at the wrong thing or you make him feel judged, he's going to shut right back down. That's why when a man is in stage 2, the best thing you can do is be present. Don't rush it. Don't force it. Just let him see that you're a safe place for his thoughts. You'll start to notice little shifts in how he treats you. Maybe he starts inviting you into his routines. You're at his favorite restaurant, meeting his close friends, maybe even sitting in the car while he runs errands because he just wants you there. That's not about convenience. That's about comfort. That's him saying, I like you being part of my life, even in the small stuff. This is also where inside jokes get born. Little things only the two of you understand. It might be a silly phrase, a song lyric, a funny face you make, but it becomes your thing. And when a man starts having our things with you, that's connection. That's intimacy without touching. Here's the thing most women don't realize. When a man is making that emotional bond, he's also watching how you respond to his vulnerable side. If he tells you something personal and you brush it off, it stings. If he shares a dream and you laugh like it's unrealistic, he'll remember that. But if you encourage him, if you celebrate his wins and support him through the lows, you're not just a woman he likes, you're becoming the woman he values. And let me tell you, when a man values you emotionally, that's a whole different kind of power. Because attraction might get him to the table, but emotional connection keeps him coming back. This is the stage where his feelings deepen, where you go from the girl I like to the woman I can't stop thinking about. The more time he spends around you in this stage, the more he starts feeling that pull. And it's not about your looks anymore. It's about the way you make him feel about himself. A man will always remember the woman who made him feel capable, respected, and understood. That's why when you're in this stage with him, it's not about big gestures. It's about the little consistencies, the good morning text, the listening without judgment, the moments of laughing until your stomach hurts. By the time a man is fully in stage 2, he's no longer just enjoying your company. he's becoming emotionally invested. And once a man's emotions get involved, you're on your way to a level of love that's a lot harder to shake. Stage 3 is where the game changes completely, because this is the moment a man starts asking himself the biggest question of his life. Is she the one? This stage don't look exciting from the outside. In fact, to a lot of women, it can look like he's pulling away. He's quieter, maybe not calling as much, maybe taking a little longer to respond. And that's where so many women get it wrong. They think, oh, he's losing interest. No, baby, he's not losing interest. He's processing. See, when a man is in this stage, it's not about butterflies anymore. It's about decision making. This is when he starts measuring everything you've shared together against the future he wants. He's not just looking at how good you make him feel today. He's thinking about whether he can see you in his tomorrow next year, 10 years from now. And that's heavy. That's a decision that can't be made in a hurry. This is the stage where he starts replaying everything in his mind. How do you treat people when nobody's watching? How do you act when you're upset? Can you handle pressure? Can you make him laugh when life's not funny? He's taking mental notes, not because he's judging you, but because he's trying to picture you in his life forever. And for a man, forever is not a word we throw around lightly. Sometimes in this stage, he'll test the waters without even realizing it. He might mention a trip 6 months from now just to see your reaction. He might talk about kids or moving or finances, not because he's trying to scare you, but because those are real life topics he knows you'll face together if he commits. Your answers, your energy, your maturity, all of it factors into his decision. This is also when he starts introducing you to the most important people in his life. Meeting the family, that's not casual. That's him saying, I want to see if you fit into my world. Meeting his closest friends, that's another layer, because men care about what their inner circle thinks, especially when it comes to the woman they might marry. If his mama likes you, you're in a good place. If his best friend gives him that nod of approval, that's a green light in his mind. But here's the tricky part. While all this is happening, he's not broadcasting it. He's not sitting you down saying, hey, I'm in stage 3, please be patient. Nope. He's just working it out in his head. And that's where women get anxious. They want to know where it's going. They want reassurance. They want the title. But pushing too hard in this stage can backfire. A man needs to feel like this decision is his own, not forced out of him. During this time, his actions speak louder than his words. If he's making future plans with you, if he's including you in his decision making, if he's looking out for you in small ways, like making sure you get home safe, fixing things for you without you asking, or defending you in front of others, that's not just kindness. That's protection. That's investment. That's him moving toward forever. Men don't like to gamble with their hearts. We know once we make that choice, we're all in. So in stage 3, we're checking everything. Not because we're looking for reasons to leave, but because we're making sure we can stay. And the women who understand this stage, the ones who give us space, show patience, and keep being consistent, those are the women who get chosen. What makes this stage so powerful is that it's not based on infatuation anymore. It's based on trust, respect, compatibility, and vision. When a man decides in this stage that you're the one, it's because he's seen enough, felt enough, and experienced enough with you to know that his life is better with you than without you. And once he reaches that conclusion, everything changes. The way he talks to you, the way he prioritizes you, the way he protects and provides for you. One of the biggest problems in relationships comes right here, when women misread what's going on in a man's head. See, when a man hits that quiet thinking stage, a lot of women don't know how to handle it. They've been used to the texting all day, the calls, the flirting, the energy being constant. And now all of a sudden, he's not as talkative, not as quick to reply, maybe not planning as many dates. And right away, the alarm bells start ringing. Oh no, he's losing interest. He must be talking to somebody else. He's pulling away from me. But most of the time, that's not what's happening at all. What's really going on is that a man is inside his head thinking about the future. He's processing whether this relationship is something he can truly build on for the long haul. That takes mental energy. And when a man is in that mode, he's not as outwardly romantic, but he's actually more serious than ever. The problem is it doesn't look that way from the outside, so women often react to the wrong thing. When a woman feels that shift, she might start testing him, ignoring him to see if he notices, picking little fights just to get a reaction, asking where is this going every other day. Or she might start assuming the worst and building up stories in her head. And the more she reacts to what she thinks is happening instead of what's really happening, the more pressure she puts on the relationship. That pressure can push a man away, not because he's lost interest, but because he feels like he can't breathe while he's making the most important decision of his life. Here's the truth. When a man is thinking about committing to you, he's not always going to say what's on his mind. Men process differently. We go quiet when we're figuring things out. We're not ignoring you. We're running scenarios in our heads. We're asking ourselves questions like, can I trust her? Can I build with her? Does she respect me when I'm not at my best? Can we handle storms together? Those aren't questions we answer in one day. And we can't answer them under constant interrogation. But from a woman's perspective, that silence can feel like distance. And that's where the misunderstanding starts. If she doesn't understand his process, she might pull back emotionally too. She might start matching his energy, giving less effort, or overcompensating by doing too much to win him back. And both of those moves, pulling away or over pursuing, can break the natural rhythm that was building before. The key thing women miss is that in this stage, his quietness is actually a sign that he's taking you seriously. If you were just a fling, he wouldn't be thinking this hard. He wouldn't be weighing every interaction, every value, every vision for the future. He'd just be having a good time and keeping it light. The fact that he slowed down means he's looking at the bigger picture. But instead of seeing it as a compliment, women often take it as rejection. I've seen so many good relationships fall apart here, not because they weren't compatible, but because the woman misread his pause as the end instead of recognizing it as the step before commitment. If she had just trusted the process and kept being consistent, they could have moved forward, but instead, doubt crept in, insecurities took over, and unnecessary drama poisoned the connection. A man's decision to commit isn't made under pressure. It's made in peace. When a woman understands that, she stops trying to pull him into constant reassurance and starts letting him come to his own conclusion. She realizes that if she's already been showing up with loyalty, love, respect, and patience, she doesn't need to prove anything else. She just needs to let him see those qualities without interruption. When a man feels like you're not panicking during his quiet moments, it tells him you're secure. It tells him you trust him. And that's a big deal. Because if you can trust him in the unknown, he starts to believe he can trust you in the unpredictable moments life is going to throw at you later. That's the kind of woman men choose for the long run. When a man is deep in stage 3, the signs are there, but they're not always the ones women expect. Most women are looking for grand declarations, some big speech about love and forever, but that's not how most men operate. Men show it through their actions long before they ever put it into words. And if you're paying attention, you can spot when a man is making that mental shift from I like her to she's the one. One of the first signs is that he starts introducing you to the people who matter most in his life. Not just casual acquaintances, not just co-workers. I'm talking about his inner circle, his mama, his siblings, his closest friends. See, for a man, bringing a woman into his world like that isn't casual. It's not a just because thing. It's a test, but it's also a statement. He's saying, I want the people I trust to see the woman I'm thinking about building my future with. Another big sign is that he starts using we instead of me without even realizing it. Instead of saying, I'm going to that wedding next month, he's saying, we'll be at that wedding. Instead of I'm thinking of buying a new couch, it becomes we should look for a new couch. That little shift in language is huge because it means in his mind, you're part of his future plans. He's not picturing life as a solo act anymore. He's picturing it with you standing right there beside him. You'll also notice he starts involving you in his decision making, big stuff and little stuff. He might ask your opinion about his finances, his career moves, his living situation, or even just which shirt he should wear for a meeting. And it's not that he can't decide on his own, it's that your perspective matters to him. He values your input because he's factoring you into the equation. A man who's not serious about you isn't asking you to weigh in on his life choices. Another sign, and this is a big one, is the way he protects you. Not in some macho, overbearing way, but in the little things. He makes sure you get home safe. He walks on the side of the street closest to the traffic. He notices when you're cold and gives you his jacket. He looks out for you in a room full of strangers. Those small acts of care are his way of saying your well-being matters to me. And trust me, that's not something a man does for just anybody. You might also see him start talking about the future in concrete ways, not vague someday talk, but real timelines, real plans. He might mention trips he wants to take with you next summer, or he might start talking about where he wants to live in a few years. And you're clearly part of that picture. Sometimes he won't even realize how much he's including you in his long-term vision until it comes out of his mouth. That's how you know it's real, it's natural, not forced. And then there's consistency. A man in stage 3 isn't playing games with your time or your emotions. He's showing up. He's keeping his word. If he says he's going to do something, he does it. And when life gets busy, he still makes the effort to connect with you. That reliability is one of the strongest signs he's not just passing time. He's building something. Here's the thing. These signs might not look dramatic, but they're everything. When a man starts weaving you into his everyday life, when he starts factoring you into his future without hesitation, when his protective instincts kick in, when his friends and family know your name, that's not casual interest. That's commitment forming right in front of your eyes. And it's happening not through big speeches, but through the steady, consistent actions that show he's already making you a permanent part of his world. Patience is one of the hardest things for people to practice in love, especially when feelings are strong and emotions are running high. But when it comes to a man reaching that final stage of love, patience isn't just important, it's essential. See, men don't like to be rushed into decisions that carry lifelong weight. If we feel pressure, our natural instinct is to pull back, even if we were already leaning toward the decision you wanted. That's just how we're wired. We need to feel like we got there on our own, not because someone was pushing us toward it. When a man is thinking about committing, he's in a mental space that's a lot deeper than women realize. He's not just thinking about how much fun you have together. He's thinking about stability, trust, shared values, and how the two of you handle challenges. He's asking himself if this is someone he can build a life with, raise a family with, grow old with. Those are big questions, and big questions take time. That time isn't him wasting your life. That time is him protecting both of you from making a choice that isn't fully thought through. The problem is patience often gets mistaken for doing nothing, but patience is active. It's choosing to keep showing up in the same loving, consistent way, even when you're unsure of where things stand. It's resisting the urge to send 10 "what's wrong" texts when he's quiet. It's staying calm instead of letting insecurity run the show. It's trusting the bond you've built enough to know that a quiet season isn't the end. And let me tell you something about men. When a woman can be patient during that decision-making stage, it tells us everything we need to know about her. Because life is going to test you. There will be times when things are uncertain, when money is tight, when work is stressful, when outside pressures make everything feel shaky. If you can be steady in those moments now, you're showing him that you'll be steady when the real storms hit later. That's attractive to a man who's thinking long term. Patience also gives a man room to lead the decision.